Namaskar, good evening to the members of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation. Today, once again, we are here for the celebration of Pandit Ravi Shankar's 100th birth year. Before we start the session, friends, we would like to pray from the foundation for speedy recovery of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and his son, who has been a patient of COVID-19, detected yesterday. Friends, today's episode, we have an eminent personality whose name is enough, an eminent singer, Hindustani vocalist, Smt. Shubha Mudgal ji. Shubha Mudgal ji, namaskar. Hope you are fine. Hope you are fine. And to join the session is also Shri Gaurav Mazumdar. Gaurav bhai, namaskar. Let's start this session today with, and it's a coincidence if you see that all three Allahabadis are today in the platform of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation. So Dada, let's continue the session with Shubhadi. Over to Dada, to you.
Thank you. Shubhaji, namaskar. Welcome. And what a proud moment to have you on this program celebrating my Guru, Bharat Ratna Pandit Ravi Shankar ji's centenary. To begin, I would like to go back to your background and to Allahabad, which used to be such a wonderful city. My Guru used to love Allahabad. He used to go there very often, stay there, perform such memorable concerts there. Take us on a journey where we get to discover you, your family, your roots, and Allahabad. Thank you.
Namaskar, Gaurav ji and Nabarun ji. Thank you so much for including me in this conversation series. I'm like one of the many millions of great admirers of Pandit ji, and it's an honor for me to be part of this conversation series. You asked about my association with Allahabad. I was born and brought up in Allahabad, and my parents were not musicians. They taught English literature at the Allahabad University, but they were, absolutely crazily passionate about music. And as you know, because you are from Allahabad, Allahabad at that time was quite a center for the arts and particularly for classical music. So I remember that very often my parents would travel all the way from, let's say, not just to listen to concerts in Allahabad, but they would even travel from Allahabad to Banaras, particularly to hear Pandit ji, or even further go to Maihar and take us with them. I have a younger sister who is younger than me by 3 years. We were, of course, little children at that time, but we would all be taken to listen to these concerts. And very often, because Maihar is, of course, the place for your gharana, so very often Pandit ji, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, the greats of the gharana would be performing there, and all of us, the entire family, would troop down from Allahabad by train to go to Satna, and from Satna to Maihar. And of course, as I was telling you a little while ago, मेरे पेरेंट्स को तो इतना जुनून था म्यूज़िक सुनने का कि उस ज़माने में हमारे पेरेंट्स के पास गाड़ी वगैरह कुछ नहीं थी. मेरे फादर के पास एक लम्ब्रेटा स्कूटर हुआ करता था. उस लम्ब्रेटा स्कूटर पे वो मेरी मदर को बिठा के और कई बार हमको भी बिठा के बनारस तक ले जाते थे कॉन्सर्ट सुनने के लिए, और सुबह वापस आके फिर अपना क्लास वगैरह करते थे. तो मुझे एक वाक़या ज़रूर याद है कि जब मेरे फादर ने मुझे बताया कि पंडित जी के ऊपर एक फिल्म बन रही है, और that it's not an Indian production, that it's being made by somebody from outside India, and that he is going to play on the banks of the Ganga, and that is going to be an early morning shooting where he's going to be on the banks of Gangaji and playing a concert which will be filmed. So I remember that my parents left the house late at night and said they won't be back till early in the morning because they were part of the audience for that shooting of that particular concert. And I remember that, we also wanted to go and say, hum bhi sunne jayenge. But of course, we weren't taken because we were children and we might have made noise and might have disturbed the shooting. But that's the kind of mahal that I grew up in, where the arts, and particularly the arts of your Guruji, were greatly revered. मेरे पिताजी के एक दोस्त थे इलाहाबाद में, श्री एस एन मुखर्जी, जिनको हम लोग उन्हें बिंदु अंकल कहते थे। बिंदु मुखर्जी उनका नाम था। तो उनकी वजह से,
सरोद बजाते
जी
थे।
जी, सरोद बजाते थे। और उनके घर पे कई बार पंडित जी भी आते थे और अली अकबर खान साहब भी आते थे। और इस उनकी वजह से, क्योंकि ही वॉज अ वेरी डियर फ्रेंड ऑफ माई पेरेंट्स, जो ये ऐसे स्पेशल कॉन्सर्ट्स होते थे या ख़ास महफ़िलें जो होती थी, जिनमें ये बड़े-बड़े कलाकार आके बजाते थे, वो हमें भी सुनने को मिल जाते थे उनकी वजह से।
How precious, how precious. This concert, Shubhaji, you're speaking of, this was in 1968, organized by my uncle, Shri Nalin Mazumdar ji, who was a
जी,
fantastic musician. And this is the spot where the crew had come from the US to shoot his movie Raga, which was later
यस,
released. And that morning, the concert you're speaking, where your parents were present at the banks of the Ganges, Rasulabad Ghat mein hua tha.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
Guruji created Gangeshwari, that
यस, अच्छा,
beautiful creation of his. Just this morning, I was singing a bandish of his in
जी,
Gangeshwari. Very beautiful morning rag he created, and he played that morning this piece there. So that was the Allahabad. Guruji used to always speak of Allahabad as something really very special, and he used to always tell me, you have not seen the Allahabad I have seen. It was so cultural. There were such wonderful people there. Going to Allahabad was a very nurtured and a nurturing experience, because you would go there and you will have people say Mahadevi Verma, or you speak of Neel Ratan Dhar, or you speak of D.R. Bhattacharya. I mean, so many different people from different backgrounds, but their common interest was music.
absolutely.
So, and all these people, Nalin Mazumdar ji, Biddu Kaka, Rajiv Dave ji, and Kichlu ji, all these people, they made the core of the musical team, which made things happen, because all the stalwarts, they would come and they would stay there. Rajiv ji's marriage in 59,
Yes,
Guruji Ali
yes,
Akbar Khan Sahab and Kishan Maharaj played whole night in his courtyard.
yes,
How
yes.
beautiful is that? That was the Allahabad, which
Yes, actually, at in Rajiv Daveji's home, I've heard several concerts. Not your Guruji's, but I've heard some spectacular concerts
yes.
there. And I remember one in particular, which is sort of etched in my mind like a video. I heard Pandit Jagdish Prasad ji for the first time singing as part of the ITC Sangeet Research Academy conference, and the conference had taken place in the compound, in Rajiv Daveji's compound. And in fact, I think there was some problem, so finally it was shifted into his courtyard. But I remember a spectacular concert by Pandit Jagdish Prasad, whom I had not had the opportunity to hear live earlier. But that was my first introduction. So I know that the kind of how should I say, it was like almost like a craze for classical music. The
Beautiful. I mean,
entire town, yeah.
imagine people like Rajiv ji, who have no musical background whatsoever. He's from a business background. But Shubhaji, every time I play in Allahabad, he's very loving towards me and all of us, towards you also. But वो जब आते हैं, मैं राग ठीक नहीं करता हूँ, वो पूछते क्या बजाओगे, मैंने कहा मैंने ठीक नहीं किया, आप क्योंकि आप बदल देंगे तो कोई फायदा नहीं है। हाँ हाँ ठीक है, गुड, ये बजाओ, फिर वो बजाओ, फिर वो बजाओ, अच्छा सुनो उसमें वो बंदिश बजाना, अच्छा इसमें वो तुम्हारे गुरुजी का। एंड आई ऑलवेज से, राजीव जी, अगर आप कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट बजाते, हम लोग को तो कोई सुनता नहीं, आपने कैसे कैसे लोगों को, फैयाज खान साहब से लेके, you name the musicians, they have either stayed with him and he has heard them both, or he's heard them like so many times that I mean it is such a wonderful thing. So going back to your parents, there is a connection with cricket as well, because I remember hearing the commentary on radio, and the commentary would be by Mr. Skand Gupt, your dear father.
My
So I
father,
would
yes.
like you to tell us about your father Skand Gupt ji and Jaya Gupta ji, your mother.
Well, my father had an abiding love of sports as well. और वो जो यूनिवर्सिटी में जितने क्रिकेट क्लब्स होते थे, बैडमिंटन क्लब होता था, इन सब चीज़ों में वो इन्वॉल्व रहते थे. एंड दो ही वॉज अ टीचर ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर, ही यूज टू डू कॉमेंट्री इन हिंदी at the time when ball by ball commentary of cricket matches was very popular. At that time, television really wasn't available in many. In fact, it wasn't available for many years. So people would put on their radio sets and listen to a ball by ball commentary by several very eminent commentators. I remember that one of my father's friends was Mr. Manish Deb, who was
Yes,
also
of
a very
course.
well known commentator. And my father also then started doing commentary in Hindi. Sadly, for my mother and my sister and me, we didn't know much about cricket, and somehow it never was of so much interest to us. So I'll tell you something very strange and very funny also, that at that time, as you know, there were no mobile phones, and when people traveled, there was really no way except by booking a trunk call, which used to take a lot of time to connect, and then only could you speak to somebody. So when my father would travel for commentary, for cricket commentary, my mother would say, अरे भाई वो जरा लगाना जरा रेडियो देखें तुम्हारे पिताजी पहुंच गए हैं कि नहीं. And so we would find out that my father had
From
reached
the
his
radio.
designated yeah. And then when once his commentary was relayed, she would say ठीक है, he's reached, he's happy, he's doing his commentary, now switch it off. So unfortunately, I'm afraid I must confess that I am not knowledgeable about cricket at all. But my parents' other passion, which was music, I inherited from them, and they greatly encouraged me. So and I'm so happy that I was able to, they encouraged me to study music and supported me in every which way that they could till the end of their lives.
How wonderful. How wonderful. And your journey started with dance, if I'm not wrong. And
Yes.
then you came on to vocal. So just take us on a journey of that, how that happened.
So when I was about 4 years old, my mother asked if I'd like to learn dance. And because we were in Allahabad in North India, तो कथक ज़्यादा popular था वहाँ पे, and we had a very good teacher from the Gangani family who started coming and teaching me Kathak in the Jaipur Gharana. And like all little girls, I loved to sort of get, dress up in a Kathak dress and wear my mother's jewelry and put on some makeup and dance. And my mother was also she was a wonderful, I keep thanking her again and again because of the manner in which both she and my father brought us up to love and respect music. So I remember that shortly after I started learning Kathak, प्रयाग संगीत समिति में एक कंपटीशन होता था. There used to be this competition in which the all age groups would participate in Drupad Dhamar, in Kathak, in Khayal, Bhajan, Sugam Sangeet, everything. And right after the competition, there used to be the big Prayag Sangeet Samiti conference. And so my mother would always tell my sister and me that देखो हम season ticket लेंगे, your father and I will buy season tickets. If you guys want to go to listen to the conference, you have to appear for the competition, win a prize, because prize winners used to be allowed to sit in the wings and watch all the concerts.
Beautiful.
So we would yeah, so we would participate in all manner of competitions. And I remember my mother telling me this dreadful story, which I'll share with you, that as a little girl, when I the first time that I participated in that competition, I participated in Kathak. And because I was not used to the stage, so when I started doing chakkars, I landed on some but with my back to the audience.
Oh,
So my guru,
yeah.
Gangani ji,
Ji,
was
ji, ji.
so quick. He said, देखिए ना, there was a huge portrait of Vishnu Digambar ji at the back, Vishnu Digambar Paluskar, and
Ji.
he said, देखिए बच्चा कितनी श्रद्धा है उसको विष्णु दिगंबर पलुस्कर जी के लिए, क्योंकि उसने जो सब दिखाया है वो विष्णु दिगंबर जी को दिखाया है, आपको पीठ दिखा दी है.
He
So
turned it,
that was my
he turned it 360 degrees. How wonderful.
yes,
How wonderful.
he saved the day for me. Yes.
That's wonderful. And then you switch to vocal, and I would like to talk about that because I feel so good that your journey started from our home and with the dear Kamla, my guru also, my first
Yes.
guru Kamla Bose. So please speak about that. It
Yes.
would be a joy to hear from you, Shobhaji.
So, I did not have a formal talim in vocal music at all, although my parents continued to provide ample exposure to music, to theater, dance, and I listened to a lot of music. I could recognize quite a few rags because of the exposure, but I really had no formal talim in vocal music. And it was only about, when I was, let's say, we used to do intermediate, that was a bridge year between school and college. So when I
Correct.
was in my intermediate college at St. Mary's Convent where I was studying, one of my teachers, Sister Eugenia,
Yes.
called my parents for a meeting, and she said, we've just appointed a wonderful teacher of Hindustani classical music, and I think you should put Shubha into her class. So my father, said, "Arey, she has not learned vocal music. Now she's in her intermediate college. How can she suddenly start learning vocal music? This is not an easy subject, and she has no understanding of the formal training procedure. So she is not going to be able to do well." And Sister Eugenia said, "Well, let's try out this class for 1 month. We have an excellent teacher," and the teacher was Srimati Kamla Bose, who was one of my Guruji's senior most disciples. And she was a lovely, gentle, wonderful lady, whom we all fell in love with at first sight and first sound, because she had this beautiful voice, spoke
Beautiful voice.
beautifully, and we became great fans of hers, and we started crowding into her class. And that was the my introduction to formal introduction to classical music. And it was she who then recommended to my parents that I should be taken to Pandit Ramashray Jhaji, her guru, for talim. So she actually made the connection,
How
and actually sent me to Guruji for talim.
how wonderful. How wonderful. So that's where your vocal journey started. Now, coming back to Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, uh, what are your earliest memories? What are your first memories of, and what does that name do to you when you hear Pandit Ravi Shankar ji? What does that name do to you? What do you feel?
It's an awe-inspiring name, but also I was very fortunate that I could hear him on several occasions. And as I've said earlier, also it wasn't as if I had a sort of a privileged place in which to be close to him in any way. But I joined millions of people. I remember, as I was once I came to Delhi, um, I remember that I was standing in a line outside modern school Barakamba Road, because at that on that occasion, Panditji and Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab were playing a Jugalbandi, and it seemed like the whole city was there. So
Yes.
there was a line snaking out of the school, spilling out on Barakhamba Road, and of course there was the hoi polloi. Delhi is a very fashionable city. It's also very fashionable to go to concerts, etc. So everybody was there. There were some who were dripping diamonds. There were some who were with khadi jholas. There were all kinds of people just thronging that. It was the kind of audience that you might not see at a classical music concert today, but it was like a huge event in Delhi, and there were thousands of people waiting to get into that auditorium. And literally, there was quite a at one point I thought there's going to be a stampede, because the concert was to start and people were still not inside. But that's the kind of charisma, that's the kind of audience that he really commanded. And I'm very fortunate to have been part of those many audiences thronging at many venues to hear him. So those are my earliest memories as a listener, when I first heard him, both
It
in
was,
Allahabad, later in Delhi.
if I'm not mistaken, this was in the 80s, early 80s.
It was in the early 80s.
Yeah, and this was an amazing concert. You know, there are two things. I wasn't there. This. I was still in Allahabad, but we heard the recording, of course, and we heard the story that there were so many people, and that time the French president Mitterrand and his wife, they were visiting, and they had an important meeting in Delhi, and they were going for that meeting, and they saw the, you know, hangout somewhere, the poster that Panditji is performing, and they canceled the meeting and they came for this concert, and there was no place. The place was packed. Finally, they had to put a chair behind the stage where she sat, and guess who recorded the concert? Which later, luckily, we found and we heard. He played Yaman Kalyan, and they played Jhaptal. Rajiv Gandhi was in the on the stage
Yes.
sitting with his spool, and he used to come to all Guruji's concerts, and he would
Wow.
record all these concerts.
Wow.
And when he became prime minister, he said, "Look, I don't have time now. I love these recordings." So he gave it to the Bharat Rams, and from the Bharat Rams, Guruji got the recording. That's how I got to hear this beautiful concert of Yaman Kalyan, and they played Jhapta
Yes.
Lakhbar Khan Sahab, and what a concert that was with Zakir Bhai and Allah
Yes.
Rakhaji on you know, that kind of music, Shubhaji. There was something else apart from just sheer virtuosity, practice, talim, you name anything, but there was something more. How do you explain that?
You know, it's very difficult for somebody, for me to analyze, but only as a student of music, I feel one thing that we all need to sort of remember is that both these great artists actually sort of trained together. So the kind of, I mean, today we are all very, we get very excited when a jugalbandi is announced or when a collaboration is announced, and very often the collaboration happens right there. You know, I mean, half an hour before a concert, you meet people on, you know, the other musicians, the other collaborators, and you're on stage and you start jamming together, and you hope that, you know, that jam will create some special vibes. But I really feel that that a collaboration that is as beautiful and as successful as those jugalbandis were also happened because here were two, I mean, here were two genius musicians, two Goliaths, but they had also grown up together musically and knew each other's music so well. They were also such complete different personalities. I mean, one was a very, you know, was a very introverted performer, would hardly raise his head. The other was this absolutely gorgeous, you know, wonderful musician whom you just could keep staring at also,
Correct,
apart from
correct,
listening to.
correct.
And yet the music that was made was so profound, possibly because they knew each other's musical personalities so well also, and didn't try to just come on stage just to do something different, you know.
Not to do something exciting or something, you know, like
Yes.
but create something which was genuine. I thought because एक वो बोलते हैं ना चार चांद लग गया, तो
जी.
ये जो चार चांद लगता था, गुरुजी, अली अकबर खान साहब, जाकिर जी एंड अला रखा जी, ये चार लगता था एट वन पॉइंट ये चारों एक हो जाते थे.
बिल्कुल.
एंड जो सबसे जो मुझे जो अच्छा लगता था कि उनका सिंप्लिसिटी कहीं नहीं जाता था, कहीं पे भी नहीं लगता था वो वहां दिखा रहे हैं या कुछ दिखा रहे हैं. उनका जो था वो they were enjoying making music, and it just happened that people loved what they were doing, you know it.
बिल्कुल. और मैंने एक बार एक और भी उसी ऑडिटोरियम में, उसी मॉडर्न स्कूल में, मैंने एक और पंडित जी का कॉन्सर्ट देखा था, सुना था, जिसमें निखिल बैनर्जी जी की डेथ हुई थी, और उसके बाद उन्होंने बजाया था, एंड ही एज अ ट्रिब्यूट ही प्लेड आदि बसंत to start with, and it was a, of course it was a fabulous concert. But I remember one thing, you know, there was this gentleman who would attend a lot of concerts in Delhi, a short gentleman with a bald pate, and who would always come in a dark suit. And remember those boom boxes that there used to be earlier in the days, you know, with double cassettes, जिनमें हम एक कैसेट से दूसरा कैसेट कॉपी करते थे.
जी जी
तो
जी.
वो उस छोटे से बूम बॉक्स को लेके धीमे धीमे अक्रॉस द एंटायर लेंथ ऑफ दैट ह्यूज स्पेस वो उसको लेके आए, और पंडित जी बजा रहे हैं डीप, यू नो, डीप इन कंसंट्रेशन, आलाप चल रहा है, places it over there right in front of him, puts in a cassette,
Oh my God.
starts recording, but the story isn't over. Then he records for a while,
And
then,
flips it.
then he stops and rewinds it to see whether it is recording.
Oh my God. And Pandit ji कुछ बोले नहीं?
Panditji looked up for 1 minute, I think, but he was really
Yeah,
playing.
in a
Yeah,
different world.
yes, and I think it was really a heartfelt tribute to Nikhil Babu, and I think he didn't want anything to disturb it. But
Yeah.
by that time, a lot of people had jumped on this gentleman and had removed him from there because in his enthusiasm to collect this wonderful, to capture this wonderful concert, he was doing all these things right there.
You know, Guruji was very affected, very, very, very affected. This was January of '86 when the great Nikhil Banerjee, one of the greatest sitar players, he left us. And Guruji didn't leave his room for close to about a week, 10 days. He was inside before this concert you're talking about. And he was very, very sad to lose such a dear brother and a wonderful musician. And Guruji started that concert. Adi Basant बाद में उन्होंने शुरू किया था गौरी से as a prayer, and he did mention कि मैं I miss him. He was my younger brother, and with all my heart, I pay my tribute to him, and I'll start with this beautiful rag Gauri. उसमें सिर्फ उन्होंने थोड़ा सा आलाप बजाया था as a prayer, and then he played Adi Basant जैसे आप
Adi
बोल
Basant.
रहे हैं. And you know that's what I mean. I mean this whole fraternity of Baba and then Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Nikhil Banerjee, Guruji, Annapurna ji, Panna Lal Ghosh. I mean, imagine the galaxy of musicians, Shubha ji. Kaise it is possible, and everybody was different. None of them were playing music like each other. They were all different, even though the source. I mean, Guruji's music. It sounds as if it's some other school, some other gharana, because there was so much input from him. There was so much input into the music of Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Nikhil Banerjee. I mean, all these musicians, music at its best, isn't it, Shubhaji?
Absolutely, it was. I mean, it was awe-inspiring. It was also thought-provoking, and it set standards which are quite impossible to. I mean, these are standards which are not going to be set by other people very easily. So I think these really
And I
were
think the common
very
factor in
inspiring.
all this, Shubhaji, common factor agar kuch ek similarity in all these people was dedication, I think, and passion for the art itself, not anything else, just dedication and love for that art form they were busy with.
But also a lot of deep thought, don't you think, about presentation, particularly with Panditji,
Oh,
how to
Pandit ji, of
present a
course.
concert.
Yes,
How long a concert should be played, how long each rag should be played, what it should look like. I think there was this eye for detail. There was eye for there was a presentation format which he had developed, which was wonderful for himself. Perhaps it was not something that, I mean, it's not as if you follow that presentation format, you will have a successful concert,
correct.
because finally the music was great, finally the playing was that of a genius. But so I mean, it's not, but to think of presentation formats, to think of ways of presenting, I think those are very important, important teachings that we can actually all learn from.
Because Guruji from day one, 1939, Shubhaji, as you know, I'm sure, from Allahabad Music Conference, which D.R. Bhattacharya ji started. And he
Yes.
was a chemistry professor, then he became the vice chancellor of Allahabad
Chancellor of the
University.
university.
And he started,
Yeah.
so 39 में debut के समय से presentation पे गुरुजी ने बहुत ध्यान दिया था. And also early in his life in India, because I think his background as a dancer with Uday Shankarji and traveling the world, he had started giving programs, handouts to people कि आज शाम को हम ये राग बजाएंगे, उसके बाद ये राग बजाएंगे, उसमें ये ताल होगा, intermission होगा, second half ये बजाएंगे. So people will already know. Maharashtra में there were many concerts. He had played whole night concerts. रात को बैठते थे 9 बजे सुबह तक. And there would be, people would have an idea of, अच्छा यमन से शुरू करेंगे, यमन के बाद वो थोड़ा सा बिहाग बजाएंगे, उसके बाद इंटरमिशन होगा, उसके बाद पीलू बजाएंगे, उसके बाद मालकौंस. I mean, it was all so planned in a way that आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. It should be like this and nothing else.
Absolutely.
इतना genuine
Absolutely.
लगता था.
Absolutely.
Just
आपको एक किस्सा
yesterday,
बताती हूँ.
just
नहीं, आप
yesterday,
बताइए.
Shivaji, I was, night, we all, I think, but I'll talk of myself. When you go to sleep or when you get up in the morning, usually earlier days, we would look for our slippers, and now we look for the phone. So, dekhte, so I was, नींद आ रहा था, मैंने कहा एक बार लास्ट देख लूं कि कोई जरूरी मैसेज तो नहीं है। तो देखा वहां पे एक मैसेज किसी का आया था, सेंट मी अ रिकॉर्डिंग, इट्स ऑन यूट्यूब, somebody has posted just a week back, 1963 का एक कॉन्सर्ट
जी।
where Guruji has played one long alap jod jhala of Malcolms.
अच्छा।
Beautiful 1960s. I'll send you the link after this concert. I'll WhatsApp it to you. आप सुनिए पूरा उसमें वो ध्रुपद अंग में he's done the alap. And beautifully, as he finishes, you might think, अच्छा अब इसमें गत क्या होगा? What will he beautifully changes the gut into Mohan Khan's his own creation.
वाह।
So एक variety भी आ गया. At the same time, you're still in the family of
Yes.
Malcolms.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful.
Itna apt. It was Guruji's, and Guruji's thought process was always like that. He would always think logically and always think कि अगर ऐसा नहीं होता तो कैसा होता, और is there a better way of doing the same thing. कोई भी गत अगर हम लोग कभी हम लोग बैठ के रियाज करते थे, शुभा जी, जस्ट अ सिंपल थिंग, जैसे एक बार हम लोग एक गत बजा रहे थे, जस्ट मन से आया था, हम लोग 2-3 स्टूडेंट, नी प नी स ग म प ग म ग, बिहाग में हम लोग, तो immediately and he was listening from outside because he was getting ready with Chinnamma Sukanya ji to go for some party or somewhere. So he was before time, as you know. So he
Yes.
was ready and he was waiting outside and he was listening to us. And वो गत का एक लाइन हमने बजा लिया, he came into the room, he says एक बार और बजाओ एक बार. So then how beautiful, he says नी प नी स द प. बाबा का एक राग है हेम बिहाग,
Yes.
हेमंत का और बिहाग का सा ग म रे. So he says नी पा नी का जो अंग है वो हेम बिहाग में ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है. He says इसका बिहाग अगर तुमको पूरा उसका नब्ज क्विकली पकड़ना है, द न समा का, बस इतना बताया और वो चले गए.
वाह।
उन्होंने कहा देखिए ये एक 5 मात्रे में जो मुखड़ा है मसीद खानी गत का, उसमें पूरा राग उन्होंने क्लियर कर दिया.
वाह।
क्या एनालाइज करते थे, क्या वो राग को, राग का व्हाट आई ऑलवेज लव्ड अबाउट गुरुजी की, वो राग का ब्यूटी कहीं नहीं जाता था.
बिल्कुल।
There was something so beautiful and unique about a rag कि बिहाग जो जब सुनते थे तो लगता नहीं था कि इसमें मारू बिहाग भी है, या मारू बिहाग जब सुनते थे उसमें लगता नहीं था कि, so every mold was different. There was not one mold which he applied in all the rags. Every rag was a unique case for him, and a rag in itself. यमन ऐसे होगा, उसके बाद यमन के बारे में नहीं सोचना है, बिहाग कर रहे हैं तो बिहाग को ऐसे सोचेंगे. It's like different human beings who look different, talk different, their voice is different. Each rag was different for him.
I'll tell you, I think soon after his autobiography, Ragmala was published. तो मुझे एक फ़ोन आया इंडिया टुडे से कि उसका रिव्यू करने के लिए.
जी जी जी.
तो अब मैं रिव्यू तो मतलब मेरा काम तो रिव्यू करना नहीं था, लेकिन मुझे वो किताब पढ़नी ज़रूर थी. और आपको पता है कि वो जब किताब निकली थी तो it was a limited edition. Only I think there were only about 20,000 copies that had been done.
It was in a box.
Yes, it was in a special deluxe box, and there was a CD with it. Even the cover, हाँ, and agarbatti था और it was a beautiful cover with gold lettering, I think.
And silk cloth.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, it cost around 20,000 rupees at that time.
You're right. You're right.
So, I was now Pandit Ravi Shankar ji's autobiography. अब उसको पढ़ना तो है हम लोगों ने एज स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ म्यूजिक, हम कैसे ना पढ़ें, लेकिन 20,000 रुपए की किताब कैसे खरीदें. तो मैंने सोचा अगर रिव्यूअर्स कॉपी मुझे मिलेगी तो शायद मैं उसे पढ़ पाऊंगी. सो आई सेड ठीक है. आई थिंक आई वाज much younger, of course, and more foolish. So I agreed to review the copy, but I was being greedy because I wanted to read the book.
Sure.
And I went through the book, and of course, I mean, what a journey. There are so many anecdotes in it. It was a beautifully produced book. But this kept bothering me, that how are students like me going to read this book? And so, despite the absolute joy of reading the book, I slipped in a line in my review saying that it's beautifully produced, it's a joy to look at, it's a wonderful, there are so many photographs in it. But I think the words that I used were a little cheeky. Grace does not come cheap at this amount, and I basically suggested that a paperback version must be made available for students of music. Now, I had no idea. Why would Pandit Ravi Shankar ji read a review written by a pipsqueak called Shubha sitting in Delhi?
He would.
But soon after, when he came to India, and I met him at a concert, and I went and touched his feet, and he very graciously gave me his blessings, and he said, "By the way, I read your suggestion about the paperback version, and don't worry, a paperback version will be made available. I'm afraid I'm too large to squirm in anywhere, but I was really looking for a place to hide because I had made that comment and he had seen it, and yet look at his stature. What is my stature? He could have given me a dressing down, but no, not at all.
Not yet.
He felt, no, no, I'll keep that in mind. The paperback version will come. In contrast, another very great musician whose biography had come out, and which, by the way, these are the only two times that I have even attempted to review anything. After that, I gave it up. Another very eminent musician, Indian musician, whose biography I reviewed, and where I did not make a single comment, a kind of criticism of the biography, but basically about careless mistakes that had been allowed to creep um, in the copy. In contrast to Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, I got a call from that very eminent musician giving me the dressing down of my life, and a lot of letters saying this, that, and the other. Letters to the editor were written by people saying, "How dare so and so write about this biography?" So here were, two completely different responses to a review by a very young student of music. And I think they say a lot about the personalities of the musicians. And I thought I'd just mention this because I can't tell you how uncomfortable I felt that evening when he said to me, "I read your review and I've taken that into consideration." It was really quite an eye opener for me.
And how genuine, because it did later come out with a much
Yes,
less price hardback, and it was and everybody
yes,
could afford, and
yes,
so many people bought. That's the unique thing, Shubhaji. Anytime I'll tell you one incident, similar incident, not about reviewing a book, about I had just asked him, because जब हम रहते थे उनके साथ लोधी estate में, when I was lucky to stay with him for about 7 years, and then even after 7 years I continued till the end to learn from him. Once मेरे मुंह से ऐसे ही निकल गया, because वो भैरव का धा और रे मेरा नहीं आ रहा था, तो मैंने गुरुजी से खाली इतना ही पूछा कि गुरुजी वो जो भैरव का धैवत एंड रे, somehow I am not able to understand. आपने आज भी तालीम दिया करीब 3 घंटा ही भैरव का, yesterday also, but मेरे दिमाग में वो घुस नहीं रहा है, वो धा का श्रुति और रे का श्रुति. And Shubhaji, the next few days, 2 or 3 days, because that time Guruji was also member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, and a busy man, but he loved sharing, he loved teaching. That's why he had students all the time with him. He made me feel every moment he was busy, he kept saying, "But don't forget, I have not forgotten. मैं याद है मुझे, तुमको भैरव सिखाना है." I will say 3 दिन तक मैं फिर लास्ट में सोच रहा हूँ मैंने क्यों बोला उनको, मैंने क्यों बोला, वो खुद ही बताते, बाद में मैं समझ जाता. फिर फाइनली वन डे ही सेज, "लुक, आज 1 घंटा है हमारे पास सुबह. I have a meeting at 11 o'clock. 10 बजे taught तुम अपना, that time I used to play the violin, Shubhaji. I came to Guruji playing the violin, and later under him I switched to sitar. So बोले अपना violin लेके तैयार रखना. Dot 10 o'clock, 1 घंटा सिर्फ वो धैवत और ऋषभ का उन्होंने बताया, and only when he was sure that I got a hang of it, he said, okay, चलो अभी जाके रियाज करो. And मुझे वही लग रहा था कि कहाँ कुछ मिल जाए मैं जाके छुप जाऊं, कि मैंने क्यों बोल दिया उनको, क्यों पूछ लिया मैंने उनको. वो बोल सकते थे कि इतना जल्दी थोड़ा ही ना आएगा, अभी सिखाया हूं, अभी रियाज करो, आएगा अपने आप. बट ही टुक इट एज अ रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कि नहीं, इसको समझाना मेरा काम है. And it became so, and there were many incidents like this, Shobha ji. I mean, anything you tell him, वो कभी ये नहीं होता था कि नाराज होते कि तुमने ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया हमको, ऐसे कैसे सोच लिया तुमने हमको ये बोल दिया कि ये राग क्यों बजा रहे हैं आप गुरुजी, ये राग क्यों नहीं बजा रहे हैं आज. मेनी टाइम्स इट हैपेंड, लाइक वो श्री बजाने वाले हैं और श्री में वो झपताल, तो मैंने कहा कि गुरुजी आपका ये, दिस इज अ एक्सीलेंट कॉन्सर्ट विद जाकिर भाई, आई वुड लाइक टू हियर अ धमार. तो ही सेज, ओ अच्छा, मैंने तो झपताल प्लान किया था. अच्छा, कभी ये नहीं बोले कि कैसे तुम हमारा दिमाग खराब, अभी मैंने झपताल सोचा है, तुम हमारा अभी मूड खराब कर रही हो. इमीडिएटली वो एक बार बोले जरूर कि अच्छा मैंने झपताल, अच्छा ठीक है, एंड ही प्लेड झपताल दैट डे. how क्या you cannot explain the man in the words we have with us,
I wanted to ask you something because I might not get the chance to have this wonderful conversation with you again. But really, I want to ask, you know, Panditji spent a large part of his life outside India, and he had moved outside India. And but of course, he also was in many ways anchored in India. So he would always return every year and spend a certain amount of time in India. What do you think led him to leave India? I mean, I know that a lot of eminent musicians have left India and made another country their home, and I'm wondering what is it about India? And none of those musicians have been able to sort of abandon India in that sense, whether they come back every year, they play for a short while every year, they sort of are here during what used to be the season, and perhaps this year we won't have a season of classical music, but because of COVID. But what is it that I'm always wondering, why is it that there has been so many of our great musicians? I mean, he is a Bharat Ratna. Why couldn't we keep him in India? I mean, I know that
it's a great question, and I would love to answer that if you allow me.
Please.
It's a great question. To begin with, he never left India. Guruji, from his hair till his nail, he was an Indian. Unka dil, he went out of India because he had this mission. And I see his journey in two parts. The first journey he made in India to make sure that the music of India is understood by the Indian people, which is right from 1939 to 1956. Yeah, almost you can take it as 20 years from playing baithaks, Shubhaji, to playing in people's living rooms, to explaining this music and giving it the respect which it deserves. बहुत बार ऐसा हुआ है, गुरुजी ने खुद हमको बोला है कि बॉम्बे में, and I will not name anybody because that's not the idea here, many famous stars would call Guruji, and Guruji would go there to perform for two reasons. One, of course, he was a struggling musician, and B, he wanted also the film stars and all that to understand the greatness of this music. But he would always made sure, वो बोलते थे मैं जाता था, कोई जूता पहन के आ रहे हैं, किसी के हाथ में ग्लास है, किसी के, तो ही फर्स्ट थिंग ही वुड बोलते थे कि जब तक मैं बजाऊंगा आप डिसाइड करिए, आपको आधा घंटा सुनना है, 1 घंटा सुनना है, 2 घंटा, रात भर सुनना है, बट जब तक मैं बजाऊंगा सब लोग जूता उतारेंगे, जमीन पे बैठेंगे. एंड दूसरा, नो फूड एंड नो ड्रिंक्स.
यस.
एंड आफ्टर दैट, बहुत बार गुरुजी ने ये भी बोला कि कॉन्सर्ट खत्म हो गया, एवरीबॉडी एंजॉयड, बट किसी ने भी आके बोला नहीं कि प्लीज जॉइन अस फॉर डिनर. So मैं और अल्लाह रखा जी और चतुरलाल जी और किशन महाराज जी started his journey also with Guruji in Bombay. So हम लोग दोनों हाथ पकड़ के ट्रेन स्टेशन आके ट्रेन लेके बोरीवली या जहां पे भी रहते थे आ गए, एंड देन वट एवर वॉज लेफ्ट ओवर और था दे वुड ईट. बहुत स्ट्रगल किया उन्होंने, पैदल चल के प्रोग्राम पे गए हैं, जस्ट प्रोग्राम के 5 मिनट पहले एक टैक्सी ले लिया टू शो द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स की इज कम इन अ टैक्सी, बट रेस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, सो ही रियली वर्कड हार्ड. एक यहाँ पे एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्रिएट किया. The ensemble in the All India Radio. All India Radio mein hundreds of musicians got job thanks to Guruji, because Guruji ne bola, if you want me to work here, this and that musician I want. In fact, even also Bishan Das ji, Ricky Ramji's son, he employed him on the All India Radio to take care of the instruments. He was very meticulous, as you know. And Dr. Narayan Menon was there that time, so he had all the support. So Guruji created, and then once his mission was here, accomplished musicians performed. I mean, Delhi, Guruji started Jhankar, which later became Bharatiya Kala Kendra and Shankar Lal. Guruji started, and Guruji लोगों के घर घर जाके शुभा जी एक एक दो दो तीन तीन पांच पांच रुपए का टिकट देते थे कि ये इसमें 100 टिकट्स है, प्लीज सेल इट एंड प्लीज डोंट जस्ट गिव मी द मनी, आई वांट टू सी ऑल दोस पीपल इन द कॉन्सर्ट. And you name the musicians from Shamta Prasad ji to Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab to Amir Khan Sahab, all of them first time in Delhi Guruji brought. उनका ये नहीं था कि मुझे ही सुने, उनका हरदम ये था कि बाकी जो भी और म्यूजिशियंस है सबको सुने, इंक्लूडिंग कर्नाटिक म्यूजिशियंस. अभी कल ही रवि किरण जी से बात हो रहा था. 1964 इन किन्नरा इन बॉम्बे, गुरुजी ब्रॉट रवि किरण's फादर नरसिम्हन जी, एंड नरसिम्हन जी बोल रहे थे कि मुझे बुलाया बॉम्बे में. दैट टाइम कर्नाटिक म्यूजिक का कोई वो नहीं था, बट गुरुजी मेड श्योर all eminent musicians were sitting there, all Guruji's students and a good crowd. And before the concert, he gave him a huge amount of money. उन्होंने बोला ये अभी क्यों, and you're giving me too much. He says no, from my experience I know an artist, if he goes happy on stage he will perform well. Lovely. So and many a time Shivaji अपने जेब से वो देते थे. बिस्मिल्लाह खान साहब को in the 60s he took him to Hollywood. $10,000 those times he had paid Bismillah Khan Sahab. So that journey was in India. Then his thing was always to show the world what great this music of India is, because till then people used to call Indian music as ethnic music. बोलते थे वो सितार का जब मीड खींचते हैं तो बिल्ली रोने का आवाज आता है. So Guruji wanted to show them that it's as classical as any other music, especially Western classical, which he respected so much. So if you read his new biography, which has just come out, Oliver Trask has written, उसमें you will be amazed that वो 30 दिन के लिए अमेरिका गए, he played close to 50 concerts. हाँ, फिर 50 दिन के लिए गए, उसमें 70. So he would go on this journey, and later on in his life he stayed there for a larger amount of time because of his health reasons, because of the doctors there, because of that. But he was always back in India. He performed here more than anybody else. He was the highest paid musician ever. And he played, you name the festivals, every year he played. You talk of Dovalin, you talk of Shankar Lal, you talk of Savai Gandharv, you talk of Tansen Samaro. And so he was never really, and एक किस्सा मैं आपको बताऊंगा that will tell you. Just before he, I always say that we feel him every day. He's not left us, he's with us, But that last a month before he went on his next journey, I visited him and stayed with him for about 2 weeks. And एक दिन हम लोग बाहर बैठे थे, सूरज डूब रहा था शाम को, and Chinnama was getting tea. And हम लोग वहां बैठे तो गुरुजी हमको अचानक पूछे कि गौरव तुमको क्या लगता है अगर किसी भी कंट्री का सिटीजनशिप मैं अगर चाहता मुझे मिलता है, यू थिंक पीपल वुड हैव गिवन मी अस? तो मैं सोचा कि कैसा क्वेश्चन पूछना है. आई सेड गुरुजी ऑफ कोर्स, व्हाट अ क्वेश्चन, एनी कंट्री वुड लव टू हैव यू. आई मीन, सो ही सेज बट एक चीज मुझे खुशी है और लोगों को बोलना तुम कि कल शायद मैं नहीं रहूंगा, हमको लग रहा है अभी टाइम आ गया है, बट आई एम डाइंग विद एन इंडियन पासपोर्ट.
क्या बात.
So he never left India. He never left India. And उन्होंने जो इंडिया के लिए काम किया है in India and abroad, ना किसी ने किया है ना कोई कर पाएगा. और उसका जो फल है हम लोग सब लोग उसका, we are reaping the fruits of it. All the musicians who have come.
अरे दुनिया के किसी भी जगह आप चले जाएं, मतलब मैं क्या बताऊं आपको, हम लोग कभी कहीं कहीं जाते हैं तो जब वो सिक्योरिटी में से जाते हैं और तानपुरे का केस डाला तो उन्होंने हमसे पूछा कि क्या है ये, तो मैंने कहा कि इट इज एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट. बोले कि बिकॉज इट वाज अ लॉन्ग शेप्ड थिंग. ही सेड Ravi Shankar, the guy at security, and I'm saying he's synonymous in many ways with Indian music, and it's wonderful. And I hope. I don't know whether the government has declared any plans to celebrate his centenary year. I don't know whether that was in the making or not. But I think that it's wonderful the way all of you are remembering him, and including people like me who were just great fans and admirers. I think
Yeah,
it's
just a
it's
few
it's
days
really
back,
fabulous.
Modi ji, he had this global summit. He named Guruji, and he announced that it's his centenary, and so government is planning, and I hope it will basically be of the level of Guruji's stature and something
Absolutely,
which honors him,
absolutely.
and we will do all our best. You're the. I would like to ask you. I'm sure your interactions later, post that writing the review of the Ragmala. There were a lot of interactions with Guruji and with Anushka and with Chinnamma. Those personal interactions I would like you to share with all of us, Shubhaji.
He was very fond of my Guruji, Pandit Ramashray Jhaji, and of course, he always invited a lot of musicians to come to the center in Delhi and
Correct,
perform.
correct.
And I remember, I mean, my Guruji, as you know, was quite a maverick in his own way. He was all enveloped in
Yes,
his study and teaching of music. He was a very simple person, but he was very excited about coming to perform for Panditji.
yeah.
And I think he was really looking forward to having Panditji sitting there and performing. So I remember that Anish was accompanying him on tabla, and my Guru Bhai Sudhir Nayak was accompanying him on the harmonium. And then there was this lovely, the concert went very well, and Panditji, really was very warm in his reception of my Guruji as well. And then we were all invited to dinner, and there were these fabulous puris that were luchis that were being made, and we were all enjoying dinner while Panditji and my Guruji were in a complete, I mean, there we were all, standing around and enjoying the aftermath of the concert, but they were in this huge discussion on the malhars. And to see these, ye malhar aisa, and my Guruji had this particular way of speaking, in Hindi. And he said, अरे अब क्या बताएं आपको ये मल्हार तो हमें इतने याद हैं. And then Pandit ji was saying, so what do you think, how do you, what is your idea of this rag, this malhar and that malhar? To see this discussion and to be witnessing that discussion at the center, I wish we had been cheeky enough to whip out our mobile phones and record all of that, but unfortunately
Yeah,
I didn't have the guts to do that.
that is the greatness. You see, again, the Rimpa, he built it with his own resources and he ran it with
Yes.
his own resources, just for the sake of making sure that musicians have access to good music teaching and also concerts. He invited everybody. I still remember, because Ramashraj Haji was always very loving towards me, and he was performing at the Habitat Center in the and Guruji mentioned, he says, do you know Jaji is coming and he's performing? I said, Guruji, yes, I heard. Are you going? Guruji हमको पूछते हैं. तो हमने कहा कि जी गुरुजी, अगर आप अगर शाम को अगर तालीम पे नहीं, बोले नहीं 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 तालीम नहीं, मैं भी जाना चाहता हूँ, I also want to go. And I was so uncomfortable for one reason, because I don't know what happened. Usually I go with Guruji. Guruji sits in the front row, and then I go and sit somewhere. उस दिन he insisted, he said, तुम मेरे बगल में बैठो. So, and you're not comfortable sitting
Yes,
next to
yes.
your guru. So जो भी हमें बैठा, and we heard that whole, and Jahaji was very conscious, and he became really, जैसे ही उन्होंने गुरुजी को देखा, of course he gave his respects. And एक किस्सा वो हमको हरदम बोलते हैं, वो और राजीव जी हरदम बोलते हैं. I wish somebody had a recorder then. गुरुजी का पूरिया कल्याण इलाहाबाद में वो OTS हॉल में बजाया था. बोलते हैं कि गौरव, ऐसा पूरिया कल्याण का आलाप हमने आज तक नहीं सुना है. सेम व्हाट राजीव जी सेड, हमको रामाश्रय झा जी ने हमको बाद में बताया. एंड दैट डे ही sang, एंड वहीं पे गुरुजी ने बोला कि इनको सेंटर पे बुलाना है.
Yeah.
So he always wanted to bring people and wanted to share their genius and their knowledge. Jhaji was a खजाना थे वो बंदिशों के.
Yes.
तो
बिल्कुल.
गुरुजी wanted that it should be shared with the listeners, and हरदम बोलते थे हमको कि जितने listeners है सबको आगे बैठाओ, सबको बोलो आगे बैठने को, students को आगे बोलो. And he would have, खाली ऐसा नहीं कि बजाना, उनका ये भी था कि how to appreciate music, how to be a good listener,
Yes,
कैसे
yes.
सुनना है, वो हरदम उनसे सीखने को होता था। कभी वो कॉन्सर्ट के बीच में नहीं आते थे कि बीच से चले गए उठ के, वो आके सामने बैठते थे, चुपचाप ध्यान से बैठते थे, ताल दे के सुनते थे। पूरा कॉन्सर्ट खत्म होता था, जाके म्यूजिशियन से मिलते थे, तब घर जाते थे।
बिल्कुल,
देयर वाज
बिल्कुल.
सच अ एक डेकोरम था, एक देयर वाज सच अ डिसिप्लिन एंड सच ह्यूमिलिटी. इट रियली fills me up talking about Guruji.
And I remember that at the center, I was we were all moving into another room, and naturally, there's no question of my going ahead of Panditji.
जी,
And there was Chinnamma Sukanya ji was laughing away and saying he's never ever going to go let you go first. He's going to hold the door for you. You try
yeah,
as much as you might. So
always,
yes,
always.
absolutely, yeah.
एनीबडी, शुभा जी घर में जो काम भी करते थे, अगर वो कभी बाहर जा रहे हैं गुरुजी के साथ, गुरुजी फॉर द लेडीज, he would open the door, let them go out first, and then he would go. And also he would open the car door, let them go in, and then he would
Yes.
go and sit. That there was, I mean, एक quality हो तो बताएं ना. I mean, it is just कितना मतलब भगवान ने उनको फुर्सत से बनाया होगा.
Bilkul. And thank you so much for including me in this conversation. I know that Shekharji is going
No,
to be
it's
in
fine. Just
conversation.
one
Just,
last on an
just
emotional note, I would like to ask you, when you heard the news, 12th India, it was 12th of December 2012. Where were you,
Yes.
and what was your immediate reaction?
I'm sorry I didn't get the last part of that because I think there was
Yeah,
yeah.
12th December 2012, when Guruji left all of us. Where were you, and what was your immediate reaction, Shubhaji?
I mean, it was a sense of loss that can't be explained because, I mean, the passing of a great person is inevitable. We know that this era will come to an end. But here was somebody who was really, I'm not his student in that sense. I wasn't close to him, and yet he has affected our lives so much. First, as a performer with his beautiful, profound music, that in a sense it seemed almost like a personal loss, and it seemed like, why did it have to happen? Couldn't things change? Couldn't the law of nature change just this once? So I think it really felt like a huge personal loss. And of course, his charisma and his charm were amazing. I just have to sort of close my eyes, and I can remember so many moments that I was fortunate to be in his presence and to receive his blessings, and I'm really grateful for those moments.
Shubhaji, thank you very much. What a pleasure, as always, to meet you, to speak to you. So gracious and so wonderful. I have always had a lot of regards for you.
just sorry
Thank you
to
very much.
sorry to
And
interfere,
Nabarun
Gaurav.
will like to,
Didi,
yeah.
Didi, just request from the viewers also there,
Ji.
and the season is also prevailing the same thing. Two lines of that song, lyrics by Shri Prasun Joshi, "Apke Sawan Aise Barse."
May I present, and I know that my pronunciation will not be good because I'm not a Bengali, but for Anushka's
Yes,
album Traveler, I
please do.
sang a Bangla song, which
Okay.
was the lyrics were by Panditji. So, and I might make a mistake. I apologize.
No, please do. Please
Uh,
do.
it
That's
was, I think it was this বৃন্দাবনের কালো ছেলে মনটা আমার কেড়ে নিলে বৃন্দাবনের কালো ছেলে মনটা আমার কেড়ে নিলে কোকড়া চুলো হাসি মুখো কোকড়া চুলো হাসি মুখো দেখলে হৃদয় ধুকো ধুকো বৃন্দাবনের কালো ছেলে. This was the song written by Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, which I
Yeah,
sang for her album.
wonderful. And the
so
tune
nice.
was Anushka had composed this
Right.
for her album. Shubhaji, thank you very much. A
Thank you
pleasure.
so much, Didi.
Yes.
Once again, Sukanya Mom is also seeing the live session of yours and sending her comments all the time. So,
Oh, my deepest regards to her.
Thank you,
thank you.
Shubhaji. Thank you.
So,
Stay safe,
Thank
stay well, stay at home, and we'll meet soon once all this COVID thing is over.
sure, sure, sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you so
Namaskar.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Dada,